The Amish don't just store food, they future-proof it. No freezers, no preservatives, yet their food lasts for decades. Meanwhile, most of us throw out spoiled groceries every week. What's their secret? It's not just one trick, it's a 200-year-old system that beats modern storage. Think about it. What if you had no electricity, no refrigeration? How would you keep food fresh? The Amish have been mastering this for generations, using root cellars as nature's refrigerators, canning to lock in freshness for years, and age-old preservation methods that make modern storage look fragile. And the best part? You don't have to be Amish to use these techniques. Whether you want to save money, cut food waste, or just have a backup plan, these methods work in any home. Imagine a sudden power outage wipes out your fridge. The food inside? Spoiled in hours. But for the Amish, this isn't a crisis, it's just another day. Their secret? Root cellars. For centuries, the Amish have stored food underground, using nature's own cooling system instead of electricity. A root cellar keeps food fresh for months, sometimes even through the entire winter. No power, no preservatives, just simple, time-tested storage that works. It all comes down to temperature and humidity. Underground, the temperature stays between 32 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 to 10 degrees Celsius year-round, while the natural moisture in the air prevents food from shriveling up. This creates the perfect storage conditions for potatoes, carrots, apples, cabbages, and even homemade cheese, all without spoiling. But here's what most people don't realize. A root cellar isn't just about storage. It's about survival. Imagine going months without needing a grocery store. No panicked rushes before a storm. No worrying about power outages. Just fresh food, always available. In a world where food prices are climbing, power grids are unreliable, and waste is a growing problem, root cellars are making a serious comeback. Whether you're into off-grid living, prepping, or just want to cut grocery bills, this 200-year-old method is more valuable than ever. Your food stays fresh even when the power doesn't. Everything stays in its natural state. Root vegetables and fruits can last 6 months or more. Not Amish? No problem. You can replicate this system even in a modern home. Basement storage. Keep produce in a dark, cool corner with ventilation. Buried coolers. A simple chest cooler buried underground mimics a mini root cellar. Insulated storage bins. Sand, sawdust, or damp leaves help store carrots and beets. The Amish prove that you don't need fancy gadgets to keep food fresh for months. Root cellars are a forgotten hack that's more powerful than most modern storage solutions, and now you know exactly how to make it work for you. Picture this. It's the dead of winter. Outside, everything is frozen solid, and fresh food is nowhere to be found. But inside an Amish kitchen, there's no rush to the store, no worrying about supply shortages. Shelves are lined with jars, vibrant peaches, rich tomato sauces, crisp pickles, and even tender meats, all perfectly preserved from summer's harvest. No freezer. No preservatives. Just real food that lasts for years. That's the power of canning, and the Amish have perfected it for generations. For them, canning isn't just a hobby, it's a survival skill. Every summer, Amish families spend weeks canning enough food to last them through the entire winter. It's a system that guarantees food security, no matter what happens. How does it work? The idea is simple. Lock in freshness by removing air and sealing food inside glass jars. Once sealed, bacteria can't grow, and food stays preserved naturally. The Amish use two main methods. For things like jams, pickles, and tomato sauces, they boil the jars in hot water until the lid seals shut. The heat pushes out air, keeping the food fresh for years. For meats, beans, and low-acid vegetables, they use a pressure canner, a heavy-duty pot that reaches extreme temperatures to kill bacteria and create a perfect airtight seal. Once done, the jars cool, the lids pop into place, and just like that, a fresh meal is stored away, shelf-stable for years. Why is canning more relevant than ever? Think about it, grocery prices are rising, food waste is at an all-time high, and power outages can make freezers useless. Meanwhile, the Amish are sitting on a stockpile of home-canned food, ready to eat at any time. No preservatives. No waste. Just pure, homegrown nutrition. And here's the best part. Canning isn't just for the Amish. Modern tools make it easier than ever. Electric canners automate the process, pre-measured mixes simplify recipes, and with just a little effort, anyone can have a pantry full of homemade, long-lasting food. For centuries, the Amish have used canning to stay self-sufficient. And now so can you. Ever wonder how people kept food fresh before refrigeration, before canning, before any modern storage methods existed? The answer is simple: they dried it. The Amish have mastered this technique, just like their ancestors did centuries ago. No electricity, no chemicals, just timer and the right conditions. They dry everything from fruits and vegetables to herbs and even meats, turning perishable food into lightweight, long-lasting staples. But why does it work so well? Because moisture is the enemy of preservation. Bacteria, mold, and spoilage need water to survive. Once food is properly dried, it becomes nearly immune to rot. And the best part? It retains its flavor and nutrients, all while taking up a fraction of the space. Amish have perfected 3 simple yet powerful techniques, each suited to different foods. Sun drying. Apples, berries, and herbs are laid out on wooden racks under direct sunlight. A fine mesh protects them from insects while the heat slowly removes moisture. Air drying. Corn, beans, and even meats like jerky are hung inside well-ventilated barns, where cool air naturally preserves them. Low heat drying. When the weather isn't ideal, Amish kitchens use wood stoves or non-electric dehydrators to gently dry food without cooking it. Once dried, these foods last for months or even years without refrigeration. Dehydrated food is ultra-lightweight, portable, and packed with nutrients. That's why hikers, survivalists, and even astronauts rely on it. But for the Amish, it's just a way of life. Dried foods take up a fraction of the space of fresh ones. Unlike frozen food, they don't go bad if the power goes out. Dried fruits, herbs, and meats retain most of their vitamins, making them a smart, healthy choice. And here's the kicker: you don't need an Amish barn to do this. Set your oven to its lowest temperature and dry fruits and veggies overnight. Use a modern dehydrator for a hassle-free, even drying process. Air dry herbs by hanging them in a cool, dry place, just like the Amish do. For the Amish, drying food isn't just a tradition, it's a survival skill that has stood the test of time. And now you know how to use it too. What if I told you that the secret to preserving food isn't just about making it last, but actually making it healthier? That's exactly what the Amish have known for generations. Fermentation isn't just a storage method, it's nature's way of supercharging your food. It all comes down to 3 simple things: salt, water, and time. When vegetables like cabbage, cucumbers, or carrots are submerged in brine, natural bacteria go to work. These microbes eat away at sugars, producing lactic acid, a natural preservative that keeps bad bacteria out while improving flavor and texture. And the result? A perfect balance of tang, crunch, and nutrition, without a single artificial chemical. The Amish have been fermenting for generations, long before probiotics became a trendy buzzword. Their homes are filled with crocks of sauerkraut, barrels of pickles, and even fermented dairy like buttermilk and kefir. But they don't do it just because it tastes good. It's a part of their survival strategy. Fermented food can last for months or even years without refrigeration, making it one of the most reliable ways to store food. Now compare that to today's world. Most people rely on store-bought pickles and yogurt, packed with preservatives, artificial flavoring, and unnecessary sugar. We've forgotten how powerful natural fermentation really is. Why is fermentation still so powerful? While refrigeration stops food from spoiling, fermentation takes it to the next level. It actually improves it. Fermented foods are packed with probiotics, which help digestion, boost immunity, and even improve mood. Sauerkraut, kimchi, and pickles develop rich, tangy flavors the longer they ferment. Properly fermented food can last for months, sometimes years, without refrigeration. No chemicals, no sugar overload, just nature's way of keeping food fresh. And here's something you might not realize: fermentation isn't just for vegetables. The Amish ferment all kinds of food, from dairy and bread to meat and even drinks. Fermented dairy like buttermilk and kefir is loaded with probiotics and easier to digest than regular milk. Sourdough bread is naturally fermented, making it more flavorful and gut-friendly. Fermented meat. Yes, even meat. Traditional dry-cured meats use fermentation to enhance preservation and taste. How can you do this at home? Fermentation might sound like something that requires an Amish farm and years of experience, but the truth is, it's incredibly easy to do in your own kitchen. Try making classic sauerkraut, shred cabbage, mix with salt, pack it into a jar, and let nature take care of the rest. Make crunchy homemade pickles. No vinegar needed, just cucumbers, salt, and water. Experiment with dairy fermentation. Try making your own buttermilk, kefir, or even yogurt at home. Ferment your own drinks. Kombucha and water kefir are probiotic powerhouses. Fermentation is one of the simplest, healthiest, and most time-tested ways to preserve food. And best of all, it requires no fancy equipment, no electricity, and no expensive ingredients. For the Amish, fresh meat isn't something you store in a freezer. It's something you preserve with skill. Smoking and curing are time-honored techniques that turn perishable cuts into long-lasting, flavor-packed essentials. Whether it's a thick slab of ham hanging in a cellar or homemade jerky ready for a journey, these methods ensure meat stays edible for months without refrigeration. The secret lies in salt, smoke, and time. Instead of letting meat spoil, the Amish transform it through two key processes. Smoking. Slow exposure to wood smoke not only cooks the meat but also coats it with natural preservatives. This method enhances flavor while preventing bacteria from taking hold. Curing. Packing meat with salt draws out moisture, making it inhospitable to bacteria. Over time, this process deepens the taste and extends shelf life. Some meats, like jerky, are only cured. Others, like country ham, are both cured and smoked for maximum preservation. This combination locks in flavor while ensuring meat remains safe to eat for months, sometimes even years.